Hey guys, Dimension Jumper. Today we're doing my top 5 things that Tears of the Kingdom could improve on from Breath of the Wild. Now, as of time of recording, we're a few weeks away from, or not a few weeks, a few months away from Tears of the Kingdom being released, and we haven't seen that much. I mean, we have seen a whole lot of stuff, but not as much stuff as we have seen from the stuff that we saw for Breath of the Wild when that game was going to be released. And yeah, we from what has been seen, there's little to go off from because the only things we know about the game is that Gandalf's coming back. We're going to get separated from Zelda. The Master Sword is going to be broken. We get a new hand and various other things. And yeah, and in the game, we still don't know too much, but there could be possibly some improvements over this into the kingdom that could be better. That Breath of the Wild sort of fell flat on some aspects, and so yeah. So for number 5 is better rewards from side quests. Now, the side quests in Breath of the Wild were fun. They were like quite interesting. They were like, yeah, there was one that's like you have to visit a Great Fairy Fountain or rescue or find a Gerudo that was in the desert, or just give or show someone various weapons. And some of the quests were really quite fun. It made you want to go out and explore the world somewhat in terms of how those quests were dealt with and how they were done. But in terms of the rewards, some of them weren't really the best. About 95% of the rewards you got were rupees, and about the remaining 5% were other stuff, whether they were uh, diamonds, pieces of armor, or just stuff you could find anywhere else in the world. And yeah, for Tears of the Kingdom, when we do get to do side quests, I do hope that we get better rewards for the side quests. Maybe we could get a new particular weapon that's quite rare, and we can only do it, or we can only collect this particular weapon if we give one of the people or one of the characters in the game a particular amount of resources or something, or a new kind of armor, kind of like how in some of the side quests you like with Zora legs, you had to give or show Zora a picture of a Lionel, or if you wanted to have a Flamebreaker armor for the Gorn area, you had to find 10 Flametail lizards, and those are just like two of the side quests that could be given armors in terms of the rewards. And I think for not Breath of the Wild 2, for Tears of the Kingdom, I do hope we do get better rewards, and the rewards are a whole lot better instead of just being given rupees just because. For number 4 is better bosses. Now, the bosses in Breath of the Wild, when I'm talking about, I'm mainly talking about the main ones. The side ones, like the Hinoxes, the Stalnoxes, the Stonetelluses, the Moldrugas, those are fine. I'm mainly talking about the main ones, and the main bosses in Breath of the Wild were fine. The only good one I would say was probably the monk guy, but that was part of the DLC, and the reason for that is because he was the hardest one. But in terms of the main story ones, in terms of without if you exclude the DLC, one of the harder ones was probably Thunderblight Ganon. And yeah, with the bosses, they weren't really fun because it was mainly just four blights and Ganon plus a monk. And I think when it comes to the bosses, I do hope we see like new bosses, but also older ones. Maybe the first two or so bosses could be old ones like Gomor or King Dodongo, but they're redesigned for Breath of the Wild and how that world operates in terms of how you fight particular enemies and stuff like that. And that'd be something quite cool to see, because like I do enjoy a lot of the bosses from the Zelda games. I do, so for instance, I quite like the Colossus fight in the Ancient Cistern. I do like the Girahim fights throughout that game as well. I think they're quite fun, and maybe not Breath of the Wild 2, Tears of the Kingdom could improve on some of the old bosses and try and work them out in their own style, in how you combat the games, or how you combat the bosses and the enemies and stuff like that. And hopefully we don't see the Blights again, ever, because they were pretty boring. And yeah, I hope we don't see them again, ever. For number 3 is new armor stats. Now, with Breath of the Wild, we did get some, in terms of some of the armors, some armor stats. So that means that was like, I believe the Sheikah armor made us able to run faster in nighttime. There was, I think, some that made us be detected less by enemies, or have better stuff, like when we're all resist like the elements and stuff like that. So maybe when we get to play Tears of the Kingdom, there could be new armors that we get to use, and some of them could have new armor stats. Maybe it could be like better power against, let's say, foes that are in the sky or in underground cave areas, or whatever, kind of like how some of the armors helped us in some of the ways, in that, like with the Guardian armor, that helped us with being more resistant to Guardian attacks. Something like that. It could be something quite cool to see, and just, I don't know, maybe we could see something like that, maybe, and how the armors could work in our favour. For number 2 is new weapon stats. Now this is quite similar to the armor stats, in the sense that even though there's going to be possibly returning of old weapons like the Master Sword, but I'm guessing we're going to get that towards the later end of the game. But with any possible new weapons, like that fire shield thing we saw in one of the first few trailers, maybe could have a stat like extended fire breath, or something like that. Or there could be a weapon that does something similar, but with an ice attack, and it could be extended ice breath or something. Just the new concept of new weapons with new stats that could be better over the original stats from the previous game, because some of them were like durability up, attack up, longer throw, that kind of thing. Those were fine, but with new stats that for weapons that could help us change the game in terms of how certain weapons could be used against certain enemies, and how we could use them to our advantage and stuff like that. So that'd be something quite cool to see. And for number 1 is half of the Korok seeds. Now, this is something I didn't see until it was pointed out to me after watching the latest trailer we got from the Direct a few weeks ago, and that if you look closely at a pillar towards the end of the trailer, before I think during when the title is coming up, you can just about see a flower on the pillar, and that is, from what I've heard about, is a Korok seed, or one of the Korok seed puzzle things you can do in Breath of the Wild. And if that is the case, I do hope the Korok seeds do come back, but also have half of them come back, mainly because the Korok seeds are a nice addition to the game of Breath of the Wild. It was a nice challenge to finding, a certain amount, and upgrading them, using them to upgrade your weapon stuff. And if they do come back, which I have a feeling they might do, I do hope we get to have half of the Korok seeds split up across the Sky Islands, Hyrule itself, and the caves. Mainly because I feel like having 900 more Korok seeds in Tears of the Kingdom would be pain. It will feel like pain, in the sense that you might have found 352 out of 900, and you still have the Sky Islands, the Hyrule itself, and the Underground to find the remaining Korok seeds, to collect all 900. And I would feel like with half of them, it will be fine, and it will just be like less of a challenge, and less, I would say, less of a grind to find them, because they are a pain to find. And especially if you want to get 100% completion in Breath of the Wild, even though the reward itself isn't great, it's just Hestu's behind that he gets from behind. So yeah, with the reward you get from Hestu wasn't the greatest reward, but I feel like if we do get half the Korok seeds, it'll be good to just to have less of a grind to find all of them. So yeah, so that's been my top 5 things that Tears of the Kingdom could improve over from Breath of the Wild. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.